This is insane, you guys. I'm shocked by this news. So let me set the stage for you guys. I'm at PT, I'm rehabbing my knee, doing my dry needling, my squats, my lifting, all this stuff, and I get an ESPN notification come across my phone that says Neko Gumake becomes the first player known to join new Project B League in Europe and Asia.
This changes everything. The WNBA commissioner just broke her silence, and what she said might mark the beginning of the end for women's basketball as we know it. After Saudi Arabia announced its shocking move to launch a rival women's basketball league backed by billions in oil money, the sports world froze. And now, even league officials admit the WNBA may not survive this one. But how did this even happen? And why are the very same players who built the WNBA helping the Saudis tear it apart? It started with one headline. An ESPN alert saying, Nneka Ogwumike signs with Saudi-backed Project B.
Neko Gumake, the president of the WNBPA, in the middle of these CBA negotiations where literally everything is on fire right now in the world of women's basketball. Everything is burning. Nneka is announced as the very first player who will be joining this league that not only is a league that runs during the offseason, but they have marketed themselves as a league that will rival the WNBA. It's a 5v5 league. It is backed by Saudi Arabian money. So essentially, a lot of money is backing this league.
If that name sounds familiar, it should. She's not just any player. She's the president of the WNBA Players Association, the woman leading contract negotiations for every athlete in the league. And she just joined a league that's openly trying to replace the WNBA. Project B isn't some side project. It's a 5-on-5 international basketball league backed by Saudi Arabian investors, staged across Europe and Asia, with 66 of the world's top players. A league designed to rival the WNBA, not complement it.
Now, it's not uncommon for a player to sign to another league because we know players play during the off season, right? But what makes this interesting is that this league is not just a league that's trying to exist during the off season. This is a league that is trying to take over the WNBA, that's trying to rival the WNBA. And you have the president sign into this league.
And the money? Unmatched. Salaries so high that the WNBA could never compete, even if it wanted to. If this sounds familiar, that's because it is. Saudi Arabia did the same thing to golf. They created LIV Golf to destroy the PGA Tour. And they succeeded, not by popularity, but by outspending everyone else. The PGA's top players averaged over 3 million viewers. LIV barely cracked 500,000, but it didn't matter. Because Saudi Arabia doesn't care about ratings, they care about influence. They're using sports to reshape their global image, and now they're coming for basketball. Inside WNBA headquarters, panic spread fast. Because if your union president joins the competition, who's left fighting for the league?
For the WNBA Players Association president to be the first player to sign with this league in the midst of CBA negotiations has officially put it on the radar. Why does that matter? I mean, several reasons, obviously. Nneka is at the head of the table for the WNBA in these negotiations for the players. She said in the Associated Press article announcing this move that, the equity was a big, important factor for her because women generally aren't offered that in sports.
And it gets worse. Almost every player sitting at the negotiation table has equity in another league. Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier founded Unrivaled. Kelsey Plum, Elizabeth Williams, and Alicia Clark invested in Athletes Unlimited. Each one has something to gain if the WNBA weakens. So when owners say, we'll pay you more, but you can't play elsewhere, what happens? They refuse because they've already bet on the rival leagues. This is what economists call a prisoner's dilemma. Everyone acting in self-interest and, in the process, destroying the very system that keeps them alive. And in this case, the WNBA is that system. But the Saudis didn't stop at big salaries. They offered something even more seductive: equity. Players were told they'd become partial owners of Project B, that they'd finally have a stake in their sport. Sounds revolutionary, until you look closer. Those equity deals don't pay unless the league succeeds or sells. And the odds of that happening? Slim. It's a mirage, a golden illusion dressed up as empowerment. Meanwhile, the WNBA was having its best season in history. Record viewership, record attendance, stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese turning games into cultural events. It was supposed to be the start of a new era. Instead, it might be the peak before the fall. Because now, fans are confused. Do they follow the WNBA, Unrivaled, Athletes Unlimited, or this new Saudi-backed Project B? Even legends like Candace Parker started praising Project B's global vision, hinting that maybe the WNBA had failed women's basketball. But the real losers aren't the stars. They're the middle-tier players, the ones on hardship contracts, fighting for roster spots, relying on every paycheck just to stay afloat. If the WNBA season stalls or locks out, they're done. Project B doesn't want them. They want the top 66, the marketable global faces. The rest are forgotten. These players fought for years to prove they belonged. And now, they're the first ones pushed out by billion-dollar politics. When the commissioner finally spoke, her voice cracked with frustration. This isn't about competition, she warned. This is about survival. For the first time, she admitted the truth, that the WNBA isn't just fighting for attention, it's fighting for existence. Behind the scenes, sources say the league is bracing for chaos. If Angel Reese or Sabrina Ionescu sign with Project B, the dominoes will fall fast. Sponsors will freeze deals. TV networks will hesitate to renew contracts. And fans, especially new ones, will move on. Because casual fans don't follow 4 leagues. They follow one story. And right now, that story is breaking apart. And here's the part nobody wants to talk about. When Saudi money enters sports, it doesn't just change the game, it rewrites it. Just like Live Golf, players who jump ship will be branded as sellouts. Every press conference will bring the same question. How can you take money from a regime that still restricts women's rights? There's no good answer. And the players know it, but the damage is already done. What was once the WNBA's breakthrough moment, its year of record crowds and mainstream visibility, has turned into a crisis of identity. The sport is splitting apart. The fans are dividing. And the commissioner is watching everything she built unravel in real time. In her final statement, she didn't sugarcoat it. If our stars chase short-term money over long-term growth, she said, we'll lose the league that gave them a platform in the first place. Those words echo through every locker room tonight. Because Project B isn't the future. It's a flash of cash with no roots. And when the headlines fade, so will the money. What happens then? Do those players come back? Will there even be a WNBA left to return to? Women's basketball just reached its highest peak, and now it's one decision away from collapse. So the question isn't whether the Saudis can build a league. It's whether the WNBA can survive theirs. What do you think? Will the WNBA survive this Saudi takeover, or is this the beginning of the end? If you're still watching, drop "Save the WNBA" in the comments.
Coming back with another video, and it looked like Caitlin Clark has broken the damn internet yes again. We have several things to talk about in this one. We have to talk about the Indiana Fever sending a cryptic message to the fans.
While the WNBA struggles to protect its biggest star, the LPGA just rolled out the red carpet. Cameras flashing, fans cheering, sponsors lining up, and all for a basketball player. Caitlin Clark didn't even need to say a word. Her golf swing just exposed exactly how superstars should be treated. But how did a league she doesn't even play for do what the WNBA couldn't? Let's break down how the LPGA turned Caitlin Clark into their biggest headline, and what that says about women's sports right now. When Caitlin Clark returned to the Annika, driven by Gainbridge Pro-Am at Pelican Golf Club in Florida, no one expected what came next. What was supposed to be a friendly off-season appearance turned into a global spectacle. Ticket sales didn't just rise, they multiplied 12 times over. 34 million social media impressions in a single week. Golf fans, basketball fans, even casual sports watchers. Everyone wanted to see Caitlin Clark swing a club. Pelican Golf Club's chief operating officer said it best. This is one of the most talked about women's golf tournaments ever. The numbers are staggering. Last year's tournament already proved Caitlin's magnetism. This year, it's pure madness. Crowds in Iowa and Fever jerseys line the fairways, chanting her name as if it were a Final Four game. And she's not even a professional golfer. The LPGA knew exactly what they were doing. They paired her with golf royalty, world #1 Nelly Korda and 10-time major champion Annika Sorenstam. The goal wasn't just to fill seats, it was to make a statement. Women's sports could be exciting, glamorous, and profitable all at once, if you treat your stars right. And they didn't just treat Caitlin right, they celebrated her. Nelly Korda said, "It was like playing with a friend. She's relaxed, confident, and just really enjoying herself." Annika Sorenstam added, "She's super mature for 22, handles herself so well, and says the right things. She brought energy and fun to our event."
Last year, Clark played 9 holes with USA star golfer Nelly Korda and another 9 with Annika Sorenstam. Quote, "It was an honor to play in the Pro-Am with Caitlin last year. The crowds were amazing, and we are excited for her to return to the Annika in November," Sorenstam said in a statement. She added, "Such a great dynamic to our event, and her passion for golf and competitiveness were fun to witness firsthand. I look forward to having her back and continuing to introduce the great game of golf to the next generation."
For the LPGA, Caitlin wasn't an outsider. She was a gift, a reason to bring millions of new eyes to their sport. And the organization made sure she felt valued every step of the way.
Quote, "I had an amazing time at the Annika last November and participating in the Pro-Am along Nelly Korda and Annika Sorenstam, 2 of the best in the game," Clark said in a statement. "I'm honored to be an ambassador for a company in Gainbridge that is so committed to elevating women's sports. I can't wait to return to Tampa in November to play in the Pro-Am with the best women golfers in the world."
Meanwhile, back in the WNBA, the contrast couldn't be sharper. While the LPGA broadcast her Pro-Am nationally in prime time, the WNBA often hides her post-game pressers behind low-traffic clips. While the LPGA built an event around Caitlin Clark, the WNBA seems terrified of admitting how much she matters. Remember, this is the same player who increased WNBA attendance by over 300%, boosted national viewership by double digits, and became the league's top jersey seller, yet still earns just $78,000 a year. And instead of celebrating that, too many voices inside the league questioned the hype, downplayed her impact, or worse, targeted her physically on the court. While the WNBA worried about control, the LPGA embraced opportunity. LPGA executives built campaigns around her. They promoted her in every highlight reel. They let her be the headline. The commissioner even called her a once-in-a-generation crossover star who brings incredible energy wherever she goes. That's the difference. The LPGA saw what the WNBA still refuses to see. That Caitlin Clark isn't competition. She's transformation. And the results speak for themselves. The Pro-Am was a sellout. Fans drove from multiple states just to catch a glimpse of her practice swings. ESPN and Golf Channel covered her every move, and even the pros couldn't hide their admiration. Players like Lilia Vu, Andrea Lee, and Megan Kong all rushed to meet her after their rounds. It wasn't jealousy, it was celebration. That's what true support looks like. And outside the fairways, celebrities noticed too. Tiger Woods praised her impact. LeBron James called her special. Chris Evert said the WNBA should appreciate her for what she is, the best thing that's ever happened to women's basketball. Paige Spiranak went viral after tweeting, "The hate toward Caitlin Clark from some players is disappointing. Women can be vicious while preaching empowerment. The LPGA gets it. They're letting her shine. This is the turning point. While one league struggles with resentment, another has unlocked the formula for growth, respect, visibility, and value. Caitlyn's appearance didn't just move tickets. It proved a larger truth. Audiences want to see women's sports succeed, but they respond to how those athletes are treated. The LPGA gave her cameras, prime coverage, and gratitude. The WNBA gave her bruises, backlash, and silence. That's not bitterness, that's reality. And the irony? Caitlyn never asked for special treatment. She just keeps showing up, humble, calm, focused, and the world follows her anyway. Because fans don't fall in love with leagues, they fall in love with people. And that's what the LPGA understood instantly. As Caitlyn stepped onto the Pelican fairways this November, surrounded by thousands of cheering fans, she didn't look like someone fighting for validation. She looked like someone who had already won. No drama, no controversy, just respect. It was the perfect visual metaphor. A basketball star outshining pros in a completely different sport, not because she demanded it, but because she earned it. The LPGA's red carpet treatment wasn't about politics or publicity. It was about understanding the moment. They knew Caitlyn represented something bigger, the bridge between women's sports and mainstream culture. Every camera flash, every fan chant, every headline proved the same thing. People crave authenticity and excellence. Caitlyn Clark has both. Analysts are already calling her LPGA crossover a marketing masterclass. A win for women's sports that the WNBA could have owned if it had embraced her sooner. And maybe that's the real revelation she exposed. Not the difference in pay, but the difference in respect. The LPGA didn't try to control Caitlyn. They trusted her star power, and it worked. Meanwhile, the WNBA is still trying to manage it. And in doing so, they're losing her spotlight to another sport. So while the LPGA celebrates, basketball fans are left asking a painful question. What if the WNBA treated Caitlyn Clark the same way? Because in one weekend, a golf tournament showed the world what real support looks like, and reminded everyone that respect will always drive the game forward. Caitlyn Clark didn't call anyone out. She didn't demand headlines. She simply proved what happens when greatness is appreciated instead of controlled. And that's the biggest exposure of all. If you're still watching, drop Team Clark in the comments. Because no one changes the game like Caitlyn Clark. Caitlyn Clark's golf comeback was supposed to be a celebration until Kai Trump showed up. Suddenly, a friendly LPGA Pro-Am turned into a political battlefield. On one side, America's most beloved athlete. On the other, the granddaughter of the current US president. What was meant to be a quiet off-season event has exploded into a full-blown rivalry that no one, not even Caitlyn, saw coming. But how did a 22-year-old basketball icon and an 18-year-old golf prodigy end up at the center of one of the most polarizing moments in women's sports? Let's break down what really happened and why this story is shaking two entire leagues. When Caitlyn Clark announced her return to the LPGA's ANNIKA Pro-Am at Pelican Golf Club in Florida, fans expected another feel-good moment, a glimpse of her fun side during the WNBA offseason. But this year, things are very different. Clark isn't just a basketball player anymore. She's a billion-dollar brand. Her presence alone transforms every event she touches. Last year's Pro-Am was historic. Ticket sales skyrocketed 12-fold. 34 million social media impressions in just a few days. Golfers couldn't believe the crowds. Fans wearing Fever and Iowa jerseys packed the fairways like it was the Final Four. LPGA officials even called it the most talked about women's golf event in history. This year, anticipation was already off the charts until Kai Trump entered the picture. That's right. Kai Trump, granddaughter of current US President Donald Trump, received a special sponsor exemption to make her LPGA Tour debut at the exact same tournament. The timing couldn't have been more explosive. Kai, just 18 years old, is a University of Miami golf commit. Her inclusion instantly ignited a firestorm online. To some, it looked like a political publicity stunt. To others, a masterclass in marketing. But no matter which side you're on, one thing was clear. This was no longer just about golf. Because when you put Caitlin Clark and a Trump in the same tournament, headlines write themselves. Fans immediately split. Some cheered the crossover moment, saying, "This is great for women's sports." Others accused the LPGA of turning the event into political theater. And right in the middle of it all, Caitlin Clark, who had nothing to do with the decision, found herself dragged into yet another controversy. The story quickly became Caitlin Clark versus Kai Trump. Two completely different worlds colliding. The beloved, squeaky clean basketball superstar versus a name that sparks division wherever it goes. As soon as the news broke, the internet exploded. Hashtags like #TeamClark and #TeamTrump started trending. Golf forums turned into political debates. Even cable networks picked up the story. And if the media circus wasn't enough, tension inside the WNBA added another layer of drama. Remember, Caitlin Clark's golf appearances have always been a sore spot for some players. Last year, Angel Reese reportedly threw shade online, posting, "I can play golf too," before deleting the post after it went viral. Many interpreted it as jealousy, especially after Clark's golf clips racked up more views than the WNBA finals. This year, with Kai Trump added to the mix, that same jealousy flared up again. Players and fans questioned why Clark was getting more attention for swinging a golf club than for her WNBA achievements. But the LPGA didn't care. They leaned all the way in. They paired Clark with world number 1 Nelly Korda and 10-time major champion Annika Sorenstam, basically the Mount Rushmore of women's golf. These legends praised her composure and competitiveness. Nelly Korda even said, "It was like playing with a friend. She's that good." Meanwhile, LPGA executives called her a once-in-a-generation crossover star. They built marketing campaigns around her face. They gave her national TV coverage for a practice round. Compare that to how the WNBA treats her. Underpaid, over-targeted, and sometimes outright disrespected. The contrast couldn't be sharper. And now, as the LPGA event approaches, the narrative has shifted completely. It's not just Clark's return to golf, it's her collision with a Trump. The media started running with sensational headlines. Clark's red carpet showdown. Two worlds collide in women's golf. Politics meets the fairway. And insiders claim Clark was caught off guard by Kai's inclusion. One source said she feared the event could become more about politics than sports. But Kai's camp brushed it off, saying she was just here to play golf. Still, the optics tell a different story. Both women are commanding the spotlight, but for totally different reasons. Clark represents the future of women's sports. Record-breaking viewership, massive crowds, and the power of likability. Kai represents legacy, wealth, and political influence. And when the two step onto the same fairway, it's not just a tee-off, it's a cultural collision. The first day of the Pro-Am is already being hyped like a heavyweight fight. Imagine the scene. Thousands of fans waving Fever jerseys on one side, Trump supporters with flags on the other. Cameras zooming in on every glance, every handshake, every smile that could be read as shade. Sports journalists are calling it a proxy war for America's future of fame. Even ESPN anchors are asking, is this good for women's sports or turning it into a spectacle? One viral tweet summed it up perfectly. This isn't golf. It's reality TV with a scoreboard. But beneath all the chaos, one truth stands out. Caitlin Clark didn't create this rivalry. The media did. She just wanted to play golf, raise the profile of women's sports, and enjoy her off-season. Yet she's once again become the lightning rod for everything: jealousy, politics, and the never-ending debate over who deserves the spotlight. When the cameras start rolling at Pelican Golf Club on November 12th, the world will be watching every move. Will Clark and Kai exchange friendly smiles or icy stares? Will the focus stay on golf or devolve into a headline circus? No one knows, but one thing's certain. Both women are symbols of how powerful attention has become in modern sports. For Kai, it's inherited. For Caitlin, it's earned. Clark has built her fame on skill, grace, and authenticity, the kind that transcends leagues. She broke records, carried the WNBA to its highest ratings ever, and still earns less than a rookie salary in men's basketball. Kai, meanwhile, is stepping into that same spotlight, not through dominance, but through legacy. And together, whether they like it or not, they've turned this LPGA event into the most watched women's tournament in years. Analysts are already calling it a marketing masterstroke for the LPGA and a missed opportunity for the WNBA. Because while the LPGA celebrates Clark's crossover appeal, the WNBA seems more focused on controlling it. As one analyst put it, the LPGA rolled out the red carpet. The WNBA set the traps. And maybe that's the real story here. Not Caitlin Clark versus Kai Trump, but how women's sports keeps choosing drama over unity. Still, fans are ready for the showdown, because whether it's golf, basketball, or politics, this rivalry has captured everyone's attention. And at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark doesn't need to win the tournament to make history. She's already proven something bigger, that her presence alone can change the game. If you're still watching, drop Team Clark or Team Trump in the comments. And let's see which side really wins this rivalry. It's about to get messy.